This is a discussion of Stardom hot takes and unpopular opinions for the month of February 2026. Today I'm examining ideas about this wrestling company that might have you scratching your head. Ideas that have been submitted by you, the viewers, and maybe even a hot take of mine to join in the fun. Hot take, noun, a piece of writing or speech, especially on the internet, giving someone's personal opinions about a topic. Usually strong opinions that have not been carefully thought about and that many people are likely to disagree with. It's not easy to reach a consensus on which takes are legitimately hot takes and which are cold. But most importantly, I'm hoping this encourages general discussion about Stardom. Our first hot take centers on last year's Cinderella and Goddess Tag League tournament winner, the person most intensely chasing Saya Kamitani right now. I want Sayaka Kurara to leave Cosmic Angels after losing to Kamitani. This submission also mentioned that this hypothetical departure from the Cosmic Angels stable would be for Sayaka Kurara to quote-unquote find herself. I'm actually not all that opposed to this as a booking idea. For me, Sayaka Kurara has inhabited a lot of different sections of Stardom. I get some mixed signals about how strong she is and who should fear her. Last year, she challenged for the red belt in May, surviving for over 20 minutes. 2 months later, she challenged for the future belt and was vanquished in about 13 minutes. This is a wrestler who will still be eligible for the future belt until nearly the end of 2026. But will likely have fought for the red belt twice by the time we get there. That's pretty rare, and to some extent counterintuitive. We have been seeing tension rise between Sayaka Kurara and her tag team partner Aya Sakura, tension that existed before they joined Cosmic Angels and became allies, tension that may detonate at this year's Cinderella Tournament. So if Kurara does challenge Kamitani and fail once again, allowing her to branch out and explore new allegiances and truly cement where she is in the power rankings might be worth trying. It's hard for me to tell how much of Kurara's booking is very deliberate in how this way and that it can be, and how much of her booking is just the new normal with Stardom, since they don't seem to protect people for very long or allow people to just go on massive win streaks for an extended period of time. If you find these discussions valuable, please give this a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. Our next hot take is all about a ferocious freelancer conquering the Phoenix Queen. Sareee should dethrone Saya Kamitani and become her perfect rival. The champion fans hate. This submission also claims that a heel version of Sareee would be a great character to elevate Saya Kamitani by getting the crowd to support Saya during this particular feud. This submission stated also that this booking path could lead to Kamitani taking up a top-tier babyface role once the crowd rallies for Sareee to be toppled. In my opinion, Stardom was already planning to do something along these lines earlier on, which is why animosity was already building between Saya Kamitani and Sareee last year. But then, social media posts by Kamitani were alarmingly deleted. And down the line, a rushed announcement for Sareee and Shuri's IWGP rematch was made. This was the match that ended Saree's IWGP reign and stopped her participation in title matches with Stardom wrestlers. I suspect that the Wrestle Kingdom match we got between Saya Kamitani and Shuri, the double title match at the Tokyo Dome in January, was originally intended to be a match between Saya Kamitani and Sareee. My vision of the original plan involved Sareee getting the IWGP and New Japan Women's Strong belts as a double champion, and acting as the menace that this submission was actually describing. A scourge upon Stardom, an outsider enjoying their reign of terror over the roster. And if my submissions about the original plans are correct, then that's no longer a route that Stardom wants to explore. Maybe Sareee doesn't actually want to have that much heat with the fans. Maybe Stardom doesn't want someone who is getting fervently booed to dethrone another beloved Stardom champion. Maybe a lot of things, but from what I can tell, the idea seems to be off the table. From what I can see, Starlight Kid seems to be the chosen one in a giant rematch with Saya Kamitani, possibly with her mask on the line, possibly at the Tokyo Dome and or Stardom Dream Queendom at the end of the year. Our third hot take was written up by the person you are currently listening to. Hanan's storytelling efforts are falling behind Rina and Hina's. At the time of this recording, Hina's white belt match with Konami has not yet happened, and we very well may be getting a Hanan challenge against the winner of that match on February 28th. And don't get me wrong, Hanan has been involved in a lot of story moments. She lost the Goddess belts to Hate last year. She lost an artist title challenge to Hate last year. She was injured by Hate last year. And she recently lost a Goddess title challenge to Hate this year. Furthermore, Hanan missed a couple of months starting in late September 2025 due to injury. So I'm not trying to downplay her recent activities or pretend that she hasn't had obstacles. And yet at the same time, it's hard not to notice how much of an impact Rina and Hina have had in terms of building up their matches, hooking the crowd, and leveling up when the lights are shining the brightest. In my opinion, when Rina and Hina grab a microphone, they really take advantage of their opportunities to cut a promo. They can ignite a feud quite well by using their words, and I don't recall having seen Hanan do that lately. Rina and Hina are also quite good at getting something out of their rivals. They can coax a level of animus, of emotion, of investment out of their opponents, and make things a little more bitter, a little more hotly contested. And while Hanan does have a bit of animosity going on whenever she faces Mei Seira, she's never told us why exactly that is. And it kind of feels like something that organically came about rather than something that Hanan can just inject into a rivalry when the need arises. I'm only bringing this up because I fear that Stardom's attempts to push Hanan in 2026 might not connect like they're expecting. But to be fair, only time will tell. Our final hot take has to do with Stardom's epic ambitions in the month of April. All-Star Grand Queendom will not draw 10,000 fans. No one seemingly has momentum or a strong story for Yokohama. This submission also made the assertion that Stardom's roster doesn't have someone who can main event across from Kamitani in order to make Stardom's 10,000 ticket sales into a reality. I do definitely think it's going to be hard to hit 10,000. And for some reason, if you were to ask me right now, I'd say they'll hit 9,000. But I also think Stardom will be willing to go outside of their own roster to make some big matches for this card. Not necessarily the red belt match, but something not too far off from the top of the card. And last year's Dream Queendom, which was headlined by Kamitani and Sareee Ano, punched way above its weight class in terms of ticket sales, in my opinion. I'll save Cinderella Tournament discussions for later, but to Stardom's credit, there is maybe someone who can win that tournament who I think would surprise some folks with how big they could make a red belt title match in April. But ultimately, until I get a stronger sense of how Stardom wants to build this show, I won't push back against this take all that much. Last year's All-Star Grand Queendom had a rivalry that had been going on for many months prior to the show taking place. It also had a main event match that revolved around a possible retirement. So there was this sense of danger, the unknown, mystery, intrigue, and all of that. It seems pretty clear that Stardom will most likely have to take another route to try and drum up interest for this year's Grand Queendom. What Stardom hot takes have you been cooking up in the month of February? Which of these takes do you think sound either intriguing or absurd? And if you want to learn about Saya Kamitani's surgery and 1-month hiatus from Stardom, check out my most recent livestream with Meerkat Ultra, link in the description. If you found this discussion valuable, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. Thanks everyone for your submissions, and thanks for watching.